Why comfort is killing your creativity. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. I kept coming back to that idea because I was stuck. I was stuck in the same routines, same creative habits, same way of seeing things. And somewhere deep down, I knew something needed to change. I just didn't want to admit what it was. The thing that needed to change was me. And the hardest part wasn't knowing that. The hardest part was that everything around me felt fine, comfortable even. And that's exactly why nothing was changing. The comfort problem. Change is the only constant in life. It's happening whether we like it or not. The world around us is shifting. People come and go, seasons change, our own interests and curiosities evolve over time. So the question isn't really whether change will happen, it's whether we are going to resist it or move with it. I found that some of the most meaningful moments in my creative journey came from change. Not the kind that was forced on me, but the kind I chose, the kind that made me a little nervous. That's why seeking discomfort plays such a huge role in my life, because when you seek discomfort, you're really just saying, I'm choosing to grow, and growth requires movement. It requires you to leave the version of yourself that feels safe. But leaving what's safe is easier said than done. So, what does that actually look like? What seeking discomfort actually means? When I say seek discomfort, I don't mean go jump out of an airplane or quit your job tomorrow. It can be that, but it doesn't have to be. Seek discomfort is about changing your routine. It's about doing the thing you've been putting off because you're not sure if it will work. It might be the best idea of your life. Or the worst, who knows? I don't know. That's the whole point. You step into the unknown because that's where discovery lives. When I'm out of my comfort zone, it feels as if I'm constantly growing and gaining new experiences. I'm doing something I haven't done before because I was either too hesitant to do it or I simply hadn't thought of it. And it is during that experience I'm also inspired to do more, to learn more. The entire process just begins to snowball. So before you know it, you're living a life so full you can barely keep up with it. And that is a beautiful problem to have. A subscriber once mentioned that she doesn't actively seek discomfort, but she embraces it completely when it comes. Now, I think that's a really healthy way to see it. You don't have to go looking for hardship, but when change arrives at your door, and it will, don't run from it. Welcome it. Make it your own. But I learned something the hard way. Finding your rhythm doesn't mean you get to stop growing because comfort has a way of creeping back in. The trap. There is a trap that comes with growth, and I've fallen into it myself. You work hard, you push yourself, you try new things, and eventually you find something that works. You get into a groove, you're feeling good about your work, maybe even a little bit confident. And that feels amazing. But that might actually be the best time to mix it up and change a thing or two. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Why would you change something that's working? Because comfort, if you sit in it too long, becomes a cage. You don't notice it at first. It feels like stability, but slowly the inspiration fades. The work starts to feel like routine instead of creation, and before you know it, you're not growing anymore. You're maintaining, and maintaining is not the same as living. There is no standing still, only progression or regression. The comfort zone might be safe, but it is boring. So, whenever you feel bored in life, consider making a change. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Change something small. Maybe you like it, maybe you hate it. Either way, you've learned something. And that learning, even from the smallest shift, feeds directly into something I think every artist needs to hear. Keep falling forward. Think about creativity like music. If you're not working it, you are getting weaker. We want to make sure we are always moving forward because when you move forward, you discover new things and possibilities you never even thought of. That's what leads me to the journey. The journey of moving forward is everything. We never want to arrive at our destination because then we've stopped in life. Work in a time during your busy schedule where you can focus on your craft for yourself. Find or create a new project. Find a way to challenge yourself, to push your current skills and understanding. Never be afraid of failure. Keep falling forward. Most of the photos I upload are the product of thousands of failed attempts to capture something. I still shoot things that don't work. I still frame a shot, I review it, I think, and then that's just not it. Then I take another shot, I reevaluate, I look around for a better angle, I take that shot again. Maybe it's worse, maybe it's a little bit better, but I learned something new. I grew my knowledge and experience by 1%. And then you repeat that. It's that process of trying and failing and adjusting. That's also how you find your style. Not by deciding what it is, but by discovering it along the way. Leave room for discovery. Your style isn't something you decide one day. It's something that forms through experience, through experimentation, through the willingness to get it wrong. It's built layer by layer. Every creative risk you take adds something to it, even the ones that don't work out, especially the ones that don't work out. Don't allow your creativity to be limited by who you were yesterday. Build on that experience. Do it for you. Don't be afraid to be different. As artists, we strive to be unique. We want our work to stand out. We want people to recognize something that is distinctly ours. Yet at the same time, we still want to be called normal. We don't want to be seen as weird or strange, but think about that for a second. The last thing we actually want is to be called normal or common, average or typical. So lean into what makes you different. That is your strength. Don't just be inspired. Innovate. Now go and create. You don't have to change your entire life. You just have to be willing to move, to shift, to try. One thing, one different approach, one step outside of what is familiar. Because we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. The version of you that's waiting on the other side of that change, that version is worth meeting. Keep moving forward, not leap by leap, step by step. Now go and create something.